Welcome, everybody, to the clash of beards and bellies. I am Nimble W Numbers himself, Scott Simpson, and I'm standing in the presence of literal greatness this week, boys and girls. He crushed my soul last week. Khalil Shakir, let me just say, great play by Bo_Mick Big Time, Bo McBrayer on Twitter. I gotta just give him the props. All hail. He beat me by 69,000 points last week. So, I'm not gonna lie. It was good. It was nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. So, and we are on in the background, by the way. If you can see us over there, we're on my big screen. So anybody comes downstairs, they're gonna get me on the screen. I like to put it in my studio so everybody can watch and then run away as fast as they can. So
that's not scary.
Oh, it's super scary. We're on the huge screen, Bo. 75-inch TV. When you come downstairs, your mug, my mug, right now. No one's coming downstairs.
No.
No. So we're here for the Clash of Beards and Bellies. It's a head-to-head DFS show that focuses on DraftKings. We love FanDuel too. Good for them. But DraftKings is full point PPR, and that's what we like. Bo is up 3-2 right now. Last year, I bested Bo by a few points at the very end. The year before, he trounced me. So we're at evens. But overall, Bo is a better cash player than I am. He is the favorite in most of these matchups. And let's get to our lineups right now. And Bo, I think you still might be a favorite in this lineup as well. Eno Benjamin, I got to tell you, I had him in my lineup, and then I was just like, man, I know Bo's going to have him. I can't have him in the lineup and have, I thought you might have Josh Allen. I thought you might have Stephon Diggs because they're so amazing. There's such great plays this week. So,
well, they're automatic, and that's for me. It's about I had the same thing going with one of your guys at running back, where I ended up switching back because I knew you were going to have him, and you can have him. I'm going to have him in plenty of GPP lineups. That's Brees Hall, but I like my points per dollar here at the running back position. Travis Etienne's role has been growing every week. He's starting to take over for James Robinson, which is taking a little bit longer than we thought it would. But Eno Benjamin, kind of last of the Mohicans in Arizona's backfield with everybody else coming up injured. And Seattle can't stop the run or the pass or special teams, or they just can't stop anybody. So Eno Benjamin, I don't think he's that good of a running back, but when you're facing a bad defense, and the Cardinals do like to run the football a good amount. They run a lot of plays in general, which I like. So Eno's going to get them work, and at 4,600, that's just an easy cash play.
Yeah, no, I do like that a lot, and I didn't know you'd have him, but I did not want to do what we did, and we did kind of stack a little bit. We've got 3 similarities, and Bo did try to change the lineup at the end, do a whole new one. It's okay if we have similarities. It kind of does mean though that we're on some of the same plays, which is good. I think
definitely are.
Whenever we're thinking on the same type of terms, we normally do well overall. So here's my lineup. I do have Josh Allen as well as you. Let's talk about Josh Allen and Diggs this week. The last time that they played, it was the invisible man for Stephon Diggs. He had 3 receptions for 7 yards, and it went all to Gabe Davis. 4 touchdowns, 201 yards, set a playoff record. Why are we both doing this week? Why are we shifting all the way, paying up 8,400 for Diggs?
Because Gabe Davis he only does that sort of game every 8 or 9 games. It's not, the Gabe Davis isn't good enough to put up 100-yard weeks every week. Stephon Diggs is. And really the only reason Diggs got less in that playoff game was because Gabe Davis was catching all these long touchdown passes, where you've seen Diggs get most of the work and the volume and the looks, the first reads from Josh Allen. But if they score from their own 35 on every drive, then if it's not Diggs, then he's not going to get any points that drive. It came down to just the game flow and the script and the fact that they didn't cover Gabe Davis at all in that game. Right. He scored 4 touchdowns. He had the one highlight reel one where he broke the guy's ankles, but the rest of them were just Josh Allen doing amazing things. And I crushed you with Josh Allen last week, and it's going to be more of the same because Kansas City's defense, it's okay. It's not amazing. It's not terrible. They put their corners on islands quite often. They run about 30% man coverage, which is about league average, a little bit more than league average. But in the end, they do that more often against worse teams. They play down to coverage. they're going to have to run more zone to beat Josh Allen. It's just there's
Yeah.
no way they're going to be able to man up with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs
No,
all game long.
not at all. And then also the emergence last week of Shakir. I think what we saw is a bigger slot receiver than McKenzie, than Crowder, who's hurt. And that really does bode well for Josh Allen. Gabe Davis is big. Josh Allen is big. Like this is a bigger team. They're a physical team. They're able to kind of take your hits and keep going. So I gotta say, I do love Shakir this week as well in cash, and then in GPP too. He's only 3,700, right? Is that accurate? Not very expensive. If you're
38,
paying
I
down.
think.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Travis Etienne a little bit more. You mentioned it. You highlighted the increasing role. What have you seen, and has it been PPR related, or has it just been more volume related?
It's more volume related, and it's more neutral game script related. Where early in the season, James Robinson was getting all the neutral script run plays, and Etienne wasn't getting hardly any. And now we're starting to see more of a 50-50 split. And we saw 3 receptions last week from Etienne, which is creeping towards what a lot of people mistakenly thought was going to be his role in the offense as a pass catching running back. That's not his game. His game is he's more of like a Ken Walker type, where he's going to have lots of neutral and negative plays, but he's a home run hitter. He's such a spectacular athlete in space that you'll take your lumps where he's going to make a lot of no gain plays, a lot of tackles for loss, trying to look for that home run ball. And that's kind of been the knock on Saquon Barkley too, except he just breaks off the big runs a lot more frequently than a lot of people. I love Travis Etienne this week just because I think this Colts team is so bad that they're gonna be ahead. I think Jacksonville's gonna just rip the pieces out of the Colts this week, and it's just because the Jags have played well and the Colts simply haven't. I don't think that you can go wrong with either Robinson or Etienne, but Etienne is cheaper and he's trending upward instead of downward.
Yeah, no, I like it. So let's talk about something we both did in our builds, and I've kind of noticed it as I've checked them out. We paid up for Josh Allen, and that kind of made us not dependent on him, but it did shift the way we could build the rest of our lineup. We didn't start with Brady or somebody else down low like Taysom Hill, or you just kind of punt the quarterback position, hope for a triple up, and then just kind of max out at other positions. We went heavy bone with Josh Allen, but then it meant that we also went lighter on the running back. So your combined RB salary is 9,600, right? Or like basically one Cooper Cup. And then mine is a little bit more expensive. It peaked over at 10.3, but I went Tevin Coleman and Breece Hall, and both of them particularly just because of PPR. Not Breece Hall. He's going to get volume too, but I'm looking for that PPR upside, that edge. And we know Coleman's in the role there. So that's where I kind of went. I do like Eno Benjamin, though. Coleman was just a tiny bit cheaper, at 4,500 instead of 46. But you could build with both of those guys and then go heavy with your wide receiver or your tight end, which you did with Kelsey. So I went with Marquise Brown. That was my kind of pay up guy, and the rest were mitigating in prices. You went with Kelsey for your tight end buy up, your 7,800, and then you kind of did the same thing with Dobbs, Myers, and we both have Otten. I mean, you got to have Otten. It's Otten season. Like you said it last week. You saw the markings coming out, and now it's ready to go this week. So, besides that, though, let's talk about Kelsey.
How many people were on Kate Otten last week? Like
you.
I was.
You.
Just me, right?
Yeah, just you. Yeah.
And Khalil Shakir. I mean, I'm just on a roll of picking sleepers, apparently. So it is Kate Otten season. The rookie. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just my thing now. Is I just pick sleepers, and when they break out and everybody takes credit for it, I'll be just like, the real ones know who had it first.
Let me just say this: the second you fucking played Shakir against me in the clash last week, he went into like 90% of my lineups. Like, and this is the thing about
how did that work out? Pretty damn well, huh?
Hey, listen, I'm batting over 200 again. I think I've hit over 200 3 times this year out of 5, so I'm thankful for it. And this is what you do when somebody like Bo is on somebody at a cheap price, and same with Jordan Vanek, by the way. These are the two of the same guys. If they say something to you about a tight end or about a wide receiver that's a pay down option, listen, just listen.
Yeah,
that's just
perk those ears up.
Oh yeah, for real.
Vanek for sure. We see a lot of the same things. We come to a lot of the same conclusions, and that's and we're both tape grinders. We're both guys
Yeah.
that watch a lot of college ball. So it's. I mean, that's why I love Vanek, because he's the same. He's cut from the same cloth that I am, where we love watching football and we love evaluating talent and coverages and figuring out how the game's going to go. And that's kind of where I come up with this stuff. Is I saw an opening for Khalil Shakir. I saw that he's. I knew what he looked like at Boise State, where he's a hardworking kid. He's extremely smart, so I knew he wouldn't have any trouble picking up the offense at Buffalo.
Yeah.
And here you go. You're going to give him a chance, and he goes for 90 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. And he looked good doing it too. So it wasn't like he just
So
did it
good.
and he squeaked out and you're like, oh yeah, okay, he got lucky or someone fell down.
Ooh.
His movement, his ability to control his body in the slot. That's the thing you guys don't understand. Maybe you do. All these guys are dancing, man. They're ballerinas. So
Yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about I went MVS in this matchup.
Well,
we have the same, I know it's rough. We have the same game stack here with Josh Allen and Kansas City. It's got a 54-point total. It's the biggest total on the board. My two number one stacks this week involve both quarterbacks. Diggs is in there. Kelsey's in there too. You have Kelsey. Talk about Travis Kelce. We're not expecting 4 touchdowns this week, but nobody else is averaging what he's at. He's averaging 4 more points per game than Mark Andrews. And that's number 2. And then Mark Andrews is averaging 10 more points than the next guy. So collectively, he's just outpacing the field this year. And maybe that one game did put him over the edge, but you love to see it because there's nobody else on Kansas City really, besides maybe MVS, who did get a lot of targets last week. He leads the team or last week in targets, not counting Juju, because Juju sucks.
But so does MVS. The problem was last week they played a bad defense and they squeaked out a win against Vegas. And Kelsey scored 4 touchdowns, but he didn't get targeted as much as we thought, because the slot corner we saw MVS kind of line up in the slot a little bit more than usual, because Juju was kind of banged up and kind of got covered on his own like he usually does. And the Raiders couldn't cover MVS, which is hilarious because, who can't cover MVS?
He can't catch. That's a problem. But, besides that,
he's been doing a better job at that, but he's not a crisp route runner. He's never open unless you bust coverage. And he just kind of found little spots there, and he looked okay. But against Buffalo, Jordan Poyer is going to be back this week for Buffalo's defense. I actually think Buffalo is going to kick the living snot out of the Chiefs this week. Revenge game for that playoff loss where they pitched a perfect game on offense and still somehow lost because of a coin flip or letting them in a field goal range with 13 seconds left to tie it in regulation. The Bills are pissed off. They want to absolutely throttle this Chiefs team. And this Chiefs team, that's all they have is Kelsey. Their wide receiver core is awful. And if MVS getting 7 targets is exciting to anybody, I got news for you. He's not going to get 7 targets this week.
He didn't even get 7 targets last week. He got 8 targets. So what's all I'm saying?
Still, yeah. 8 target MVS is going to happen 3 times this whole season.
It might happen next game. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, well, but I will say this though. I'm not against Dobbs. I like Dobbs, right? I think Dobbs is a nice little sneaky play against the Jets. I went Breece Hall in that game, so we're targeting the same games too. If you're noticing, this is what I like about us is we're looking in the same. We might not hit the same pieces. The pieces might be wrong, right? Bo might hit or I might hit, but the games are key. The games kind of unlock the rest of the slate for you. If you can pick the right one game to build most of your core around, then you can jump in with the other build. So just talk about kind of what you see in this Green Bay game, because I think there will be some points scored.
Yeah, you see a couple of mediocre defenses and a couple offenses with explosive weapons. Right. I think the Jets have I think the Jets have the advantage on the offensive side. And so Breece Hall is going to make it into a lot of my lineups. The Packers haven't been great. They have the same kind of problem as the Chiefs, where their wide receivers are awful by and large, except they don't have a stud tight end like Travis Kelce like the Chiefs do, and that's why the Chiefs are really humming. Aaron Rodgers has Romeo Doubs, who's a rookie out of Nevada. Nevada plays in the Mountain West Conference. And somehow Romeo Doubs has put up good numbers this year as a rookie, mid-round pick, and learning a very complex LaFleur offense. And that's the kind of kid he is. Romeo Doubs was an extremely intelligent, well-coached individual who happened to catch passes from a Northern California-born quarterback in Carson Strong, a guy who's strong-willed and stubborn and probably lashes out at as receivers when they miss an assignment. So there's nothing new here for Romeo Doubs. It's a nice scenery. It's at Lambeau. I think the Packers are going to end up winning this game because the Jets aren't quite there as a winning team yet.
As a group.
Yeah, and the Packers receivers are still going to be fine, even though I don't expect Dobbs to go nuclear against DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner. I think he's going to have a nice game. And at 4,800, that's all I'm looking for in a cash lineup is points per dollar.
I like your second play too there in Jacoby Myers. What we saw last week from Zappy was that he was looking for Myers. That was a connection that he had. You saw the touchdown.
Speaking of teams that only have one guy that can get open.
Well, listen, Nelson Aguilar can get open on a 90-yard fly pattern, and that is his route, and he can do it great if you don't know it's coming. But when you know it's coming, you can drop your safety. Never mind. Let's just get out of here on this. The only person I did not talk about, that's last week, on this lineup is Marquise Hollywood Brown or Ramondre Stevenson. But that goes without saying. They're playing a team last week.
Play Ramondre and as many things as you can.
Yeah, seriously. Last week, Austin Eckler, he had 171 yards rushing. He had 10.8 yards a carry, people. They were getting gashed. And you know Bill Belichick loves to establish the run. Like him and Evan Silva, I think he owns part of establish the run. I think he's bankrolling them. It's a Bill Belichick production. That's between you and me. So I did have to go Ramondre, and I'm not going to lie, Bo. I did that not for you, but because I learned by watching you, right? And so Kelsey probably is going to outscore Ramondre, but the three running backs.
You son of a bitch.
Is a Bo McBrayer staple. This guy's one of the best cash players in the world, people. If you're not learning from him, you're not doing it right. So where can people find you besides in 5 more minutes over on Chalk Blocked right here on NimbleWnumbers.com? Got a bunch of friends in here too. Where can we find you?
Hit this Twitter right here at Bo_McBigTime. That's where I live.
Yeah, I follow you, and you put a bunch of food porn out there. You also put a bunch of DFS hot takes out there, and then I need to go. Is your pin tweet right now your trending viral tweet yet, or no?
No, that was fun last night.
Last night, right? I mean, this guy's so big time. Last night.
Well, last night's tweet was fun because all I did was say, I'm sorry, but Antonio Gibson is so much better than Brian Robinson. I mean, it shouldn't be a hot take at all because if you watch football, Brian Robinson is just a big plodding back that can't find a hole. And Antonio Gibson's a 6'2", 240-pound running back that can run a 4.39 and can catch passes and can break home run runs and still isn't getting any love from his coaching staff. But my pinned tweet is my hot takes preseason article. So check it out. I'm still right in line with some of them to hit this year. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say, Scott Fish said my Twitter algo has an opinion this morning. And then you got your tweet here down that went viral. The best part about this is last night I'm at the bar with Mike Cash Collins, my partner over at the Fantasy Millionaires, Justin Bruni, another friend over at the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Bo and I work there. We write for them. And as we're sitting there, Mike just goes, man, Antonio Gibson is so much better than Brian Robinson. What the fuck? Right. And then I tweet out, I think, anybody else think? I said this to them. I said, I think anybody else think Dan Snyder's the one who shot Brian Robinson? And then we laughed and laughed. And so your sentiment just touched everyone's soul, Bo. Like it was just right in front of our faces, and you crushed it. So do follow him for more hot takes and quality tweets. We'll be back in like 5 minutes for Chalk Block. We're going to run the whole slate, talk about every game, every play, get you in the money. If you can win a tournament on 220, 215 points, win a couple $1,000. I mean, come on, that's going to make your Sunday. Stick around. We'll be right back. Bo, you're awesome. Can't believe